guys, and welcome back to my podcast where we talk about all things weight loss. On this specific episode, I have Anita. She's about 5 months post-op from BSG surgery, and she is 63 pounds down. She is really open about her journey and experience with PCOS. There's a lot of questions that were asked by some of you guys on Instagram. So she really focused on it. We talked about it for a good amount of time. And I just love learning about things that I really don't know about and what other people are experiencing. That's why I love having these podcasts, because everyone's story is different. So I'm really thankful that she was open on sharing that. We talked about why she got surgery. We talk about what her goals are and how she's so not focused on a number on a scale, but more on those non-scale victories that she has experienced and is looking forward to experiencing in her journey. Like I said, she's 5 months post-op. She's still early on in her journey, and she's already so motivated and so inspirational. So I can't wait to see what it's going to look like in another 6 months. But yeah, you guys, if you guys haven't yet, please download the Anchor app. You guys can listen to this in a podcast form. My name is also Body, Mind, and Soul _VSG on there, or you guys can just watch here on YouTube. If you guys are interested in listening to this podcast, then keep on watching.
So let's just start with whatever you want to share with anyone watching.
So, hey everybody, I'm known as VSG PCOS Anita on Instagram, but I'm Anita. Hey, what's up? So I had VSG surgery on May 29th of this year. I waited about a year before I went under for my surgery. I weighed in at 252 on surgery day. And I'm currently at 210 pounds. So about
almost to Wonderland.
Almost to Wonderland. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I'm in the DMV area. For anybody who doesn't know where that is, that's DC, Maryland, Virginia. We call it the DMV.
Wow, I learned something new. I was like, wait, what does that mean?
Yeah. DMV, a lot of people are like, oh, what are you talking about the DMV for? Like vehicles? And I'm like, no.
And it's late over there. So thank you it's 9 over there. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Like, you're such an inspiration. So I'm super excited to be here as a guest.
And I've been watching your YouTube videos, okay? And I love them because honestly, I don't feel like there's a lot of people out there. When I search VSG, yeah, there's people that pop up, but
yeah,
I don't feel like I would think there'd be way more people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I kind of felt like I really do feel like there's room for everyone on YouTube, because there's so many different running parts to our journeys. And, I'm coming in this with PCOS, and some women have no idea what that is. Some do. And those of us who do have PCOS, all of us seem to have different symptoms. So it's really hard to find somebody who is going through the exact same list of symptoms you are. So yeah, I just felt like we had to share.
And I feel people that comment on like every week when I have a podcast, the story connects to someone completely different. And like I always say, even if it helps one person, then cool, awesome,
Exactly.
And I've learned a lot more about PCOS. I've had a couple people on the podcast that do have PCOS. My sister also has PCOS.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think it's been a couple years now that that she knew about it. So I know that that's part of your name on Instagram. Do you want to share maybe like what your struggles are? Because I know you said it can be different.
Yes, definitely. So by the way, the YouTube channel is Anita PCOS VSG.
I'll put you under.
In case people are looking for it, because when you're making up these names, I don't think about it, so they're all mixed up. But some of my symptoms with PCOS, so I have struggled with weight since probably about like 5 years old. And I was always that chunky, heavy kid, steadily gaining weight every year of life. And the crazy thing is, like, I grew up playing sports every single season. I was busy. Like, I was not that kid sitting around, like, eating chips on a couch and stuff, like what people would think when they look at you. And so I just never could understand why I would be so active and still constantly gaining weight. Granted, my diet wasn't great. So that definitely plays into it. But I saw an article when I was maybe in like my, maybe in freshman year of high school. And it talks about PCOS. It was in like a Teen Vogue or something. And, you know, I had never heard of it.
Yeah.
But I just kept checking off the list of all the symptoms. Like you're steadily gaining weight. You could see facial hair. Acne is a problem. And just issues with your menstrual cycle. So I had a really bad cycle, lots of pain. And it was just like irregular. And so I just was overseas at that time because I grew up overseas. So I had to wait to like get back to the States to see a doctor about it because, you know, it's so new that at that time you couldn't even find a doctor stateside who really knew about it.
That's what I was going to ask you. How new is it? Like when is, because I never heard about that either. And I always had irregular periods and stuff. And that's, I actually did get checked to see if I had PCOS because I also had irregular periods and everything. But yeah, when was it more talked about?
So this was like back in, so I came back stateside like 2004.
Okay.
And I was maybe like a junior year of high school. And that's when I went to see a doctor about it. And it was still really new at that time. And they still, to this day, don't really have a great way of treating it. They're just going to throw you on birth control. And depending on how your hormone levels are, because mine, I had really high testosterone levels.
Okay.
So I needed a dose of estrogen to help bring those levels down and keep them in check. So it was still super new and birth control. And then they gave me spiralactone for my acne. And that seems that I talk to a lot of people who have PCOS and I'm hearing the same thing. And they even throw in metformin. If you don't know what metformin is, a lot of diabetics can take it. And it's just a heavy, hardcore drug.
My sister takes that.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's not a light, it's not something.
And then like
lightly.
I'm just talking of like, I'm talking for my sister, but like, you know, mood swings and everything. And she's actually in the process of trying to get pregnant and it's been very hard for her. And she's going to start her IVF journey. She did IUIs. They didn't work, unfortunately. She did them about 7 times. And now she's in a same-sex marriage. So, I mean, obviously there's that, but then, you know, with all the IUIs, there's been 7 and it hasn't worked. So now she's starting IVF, but yeah, it's been a struggle for her and she has PCOS. So that's one of the factors, you know?
It really is. And that's why I also felt a need to share because like I'm coming from the angle of, yes, I have PCOS. I'm not trying to have kids at this point in time in my life, but there are a lot of people who need to, you know, see people's journeys of like just trying to get pregnant because that's the biggest heartbreak of PCOS is just trouble conceiving and carrying it through with the pregnancy. So
sure, yeah. So how has I mean, and again, I'm just learning all about this. So you got this sleeve, correct? VSG, obviously, yeah, it's in your name. You got the sleeve after you were about what, 5 months post-op now?
I'm about 5 months. Yep. Has
that helped with your PCOS? Are you on specific medication, if you don't mind me asking?
So I stopped the birth control. They had me stop that a few months before surgery. And then I stopped taking my spiralactone, which keeps the acne in check. I stopped that like the night before surgery.
Okay.
And honestly, I wish I could say like, oh yeah, this is helping my PCOS symptoms. I really don't think it is at this point.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that it can't in the long run. I think just, you know, I'm sure there are some underlying like, benefits that I just maybe I'm feeling it, but I don't necessarily like register it. So who knows? But at this point in time, I still see hair growth.
And that's actually one of the questions. It says, did you have excessive hair growth with PCOS? And if so, has that symptom gone away? So
I wouldn't say that mine was like really bad. Like, you know, I may have to pluck a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not really like out of control, but I have seen some who suffer with PCOS who really have it bad. But I can say that it hasn't really seemed to help with that. So I'm actually looking forward to getting back on spiralactone medication because I'm seeing some of my acne creep back.
Okay.
And I've been through it with acne. I've experienced that super crazy cystic acne that when I talk about it, some people think like, oh, it's just like that simple kind of acne. No, this was like wake up in the middle of the night with putting ice packs on my face. It was that bad. I
And
saw a
is it
dermatologist.
so like under your armpits, between your legs also?
With the acne?
Yeah.
Or
Or
yeah,
it's,
so
it's
like
more like cysts, right? Like my sister struggled
yeah,
with it's under her arms, between her legs, like
yeah.
under her boobs, like, you know, painful cysts.
I will say that those seem to like kind of fade away with the more weight that you lose. The better things are like down there and everywhere else. I do just notice little bits of acne that might be coming back on my arms here and there, but it always seems to register like around the time of my cycle. So I will say that, you know, maybe that is a benefit. Maybe it is getting a little bit better. But for me, I still feel like I need that boost of the medication, and it could be because testosterone levels are creeping back. Who knows?
Yeah. And I mean, just with losing weight in general too, everything's all out of whack. Like I didn't get my period for 5 years before my surgery. Literally.
Really?
Yeah. Like I would get it maybe once a year and it was like 2 days. And I was like, what was that? You know,
Wow.
for literally 5 years. And I mean, I was 304 pounds. I'm 5'4". So that's really heavy.
Oh, we're the same height. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. So I was really heavy. And when I say that, like people are like, you were not over 300. I'm like, yes, I was 304. Like, and it's crazy to think, you know, that was a year ago. But anyways, 3 months after my surgery, when I lost weight really fast, by my 6 months, I lost 100 pounds. Like it was crazy. But my first 3 months, I literally got my period and I was like, whoa, like, you know, and then since then I get it every single month at the same time, which has never been the case for me ever since I got it. Yeah. Because before I played soccer growing up and I would get it every other month. And the doctor was like, it's normal because you play soccer. And I was like, okay, whatever. And now my doctor's like, it is never normal to not have your period every month. They probably just said that to you as a kid so you didn't feel bad, you know?
I feel like they all say that because I was told that too, like
Because you were active?
Irregularities, and they're just like, oh, you're just active, like it will come back, and you're just like, all right.
Yeah, no, I'm 29 and I'm barely right now getting my period at the same time every month, which is crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, it's insane. It's so weird because, and I did have doctors that were like, you need to lose weight, you know? And I was like, yeah, I know that it has an effect on that. But in my head, I was like, I've never had my period at the same time every month. It's never going to happen for me, you know?
Wow.
And I do. So it's so insane to me.
There you go. That's one of the benefits.
It's crazy. It's super, super crazy, but I'm thankful. Let me go through some. Oh yeah, it's a lot of like PCOS questions. Yeah, has she experienced relief from PCOS symptoms post-op? So
there could be a few. Now that I actually like sit and talk about it, there could be a little bit. I haven't noticed anything like huge yet, but I think just having the weight off in general, there's some great benefits.
And I know you said you struggle with your cycle. Is your cycle still a little off?
My cycle is right on time. Now, the only thing that will mess with that is when I jump back on spiralactone, that seems to throw it out of whack. And maybe I'll have to jump on birth control again. I'm not really sure how I'm going to play this. Like I may just try and stay away from the spiralactone, but I definitely don't want to experience the cystic acne that I've gone through. Like it's just, I've been saving that video because I've just kind of been hanging on to it because I hate looking at the pictures, but it's definitely something that's coming soon on my channel. I'm finally going to share. So
yeah, because like you said, like, I mean, PCOS is a lot of women struggle with it, you know, and I didn't know that. And that's a lot of like when I do Q&As or when I do the podcast and stuff, I think I get a question every single week on, does this, you know, the person that you're going to have on, do they struggle with PCOS? And like I said, there's been multiple. So it's crazy. And, you know, like whoever's watching, you're not alone. And again, like you said, you've noticed some things change, but I mean, does it Can PCOS go away? I don't know if that's a stupid question.
So when sitting down, that's not a stupid question.
Because I was like, I have no idea. I've never been asked for that.
That is a good question. And anybody who's watching this who's doing research for VSG and you haven't, dived into it yet, I went into my consult with, PCOS was the number one topic that I wanted to talk to my surgeon about. So I wrote down every question that I had. And one of my questions was, what is the benefit of this procedure for PCOS? And I was told that this procedure could give me an 80% chance of seeing, symptoms subside.
Wow.
I think symptoms are always going to be dormant when you have PCOS because you have a hormonal imbalance is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Like when I see an endocrinologist and, they're always checking all your hormone levels and everything. So it's a super deep thing, but I was told 80% chance. And when you get that kind of number, I'm going to take that chance. So
that's huge. That's huge. And PCOS, is it genetic?
I personally think it is because when we look back, I was talking to my mom and when we discussed it, we ended up seeing some symptoms in her sister. My sister even has like a few symptoms. So I really feel like it probably is.
But like you said, it's a newer thing. So like your mom, doctors probably weren't, you know what I mean?
Didn't even know. And, like if she's gone through miscarriages and things like that, you got to sit back and wonder like, wow, well, maybe that's maybe related.
Connected to that. Yeah. And there wasn't enough information.
Right.
That's crazy.
It is.
So was that, I know you mentioned that was part of your reason for surgery. I mean, obviously to lose weight and get healthy, but was PCOS one of the main things?
I feel like that was my main thing because it was so frustrating year after year going to any doctor visit I would have. We'd always have the weight conversation. It always ended up being like, hey, you gotta drop some weight for things to get better in this area, for things to get better here.
It was connected to everything, right?
Yeah. Yep. And you're told like, what are some of the symptoms of PCOS? Weight gain. So you're going to tell me that, keep telling me to lose weight, but also tell me that what you're suffering from, weight gain is a symptom. So it's like a
figure it out. Yeah, they're like, figure it out, but it's a factor. Yeah.
Yeah. And I did everything I could. Like weight loss surgery was discussed with me years ago, probably like 4 years ago was the first appointment where a doctor discussed it with me. And I just was like, no, I'm not doing that. That's extreme.
That was me. That was me. And I've said it in previous podcasts where I was so against it. And I was like, I can never and it was something that I looked down on, and I'm going to be real. It was something that I was like, oh my gosh, like how can you be that lazy?
Right.
And now I'm this is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
It's no joke. And then it's like, really, you got to choose your heart. Like it's year after year, I kept going through the same thing, and the weight just kept, every time I would have successful moments of weight loss. I remember doing Atkins one time, hardcore, and lost like 30 pounds, but all that came back plus some. And it's at the end of the day, I needed the boost that VSG gives us and also the restriction, because I did binge eating as well, not gonna lie, like I had issues with that.
Yep.
So, and it's hard when you're actually trying to, one day can screw everything up. Like when you're losing weight naturally with PCOS and whatnot, you're wired with PCOS to want like these horrible things. And I know a lot of people go through that, whether you have PCOS or not.
Yeah.
But when you have a hormone imbalance like that, sometimes you just cannot check those cravings and the bad habits. It's just like, it's 0 to 100 sometimes.
And you talked about binge eating. I mean, people ask if like all those cravings and stuff go away. I mean, you're 5 months post-op, you crave stuff, right?
Yeah.
How about 1 month, when you were about 1 month post-op? Did you crave stuff?
1 month post-op, I was happy to have a cracker. Like,
Yep.
Like, you're not thinking about that. And I feel like the more that you open up your palate to sodium and, you know, get a little taste of that sugar, you're gonna be back in the same boat where you're craving those things.
Absolutely.
And I do allow myself, I'm probably like the most, I guess I'm like a hippie VSG patient because like I don't sit here and track anything. People are asking me how many calories do you consume, and I'm like, girl, I couldn't tell you.
People ask me that now, and like I do, you know, what I eat in a day, and I'm like counting it. But I'm gonna be honest, and I've said this before, that those are the only days that I will ever count my calories. Even now, and sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe I should, because now being 14 months post-op to what I could eat when I was 5 months to, to 1 month, oh my God, forget about it. I was eating like, I don't know, 200, 300 calories, like honestly, you know?
Yeah.
That was because I physically couldn't eat more. It wasn't because I was like trying to starve myself. I literally would drink 1/4 of a Premier shake and I felt like I ate like a turkey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now a Premier shake, I mean, yeah, it fills me up, but not like before at all, you know? And it's crazy because I used to think like, how can people gain their weight back? And now being 14 months post-op, I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's scary now because now I do. And I don't say that to scare people, but it's a real thing. And my restriction was so like, yes, I have a restriction, but nothing compared to the previous months.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this while I'm talking to you. So if you're on your cycle, do you find that you can eat a lot more? Like you don't feel that restriction as much?
Well, I feel restriction, but the thing is snacking is the devil. Literally, like if I wanted to snack every 30 minutes, I could absolutely eat. And this is scary, but like when I think about it, and let's say I chose to eat hot Cheetos because I can. And I said it before, I've never experienced dumping syndrome. I've had hot Cheetos. I've had regular ice cream. I've had the only one thing that made me like, oh my gosh, I think I'm going to have dumping syndrome was a cake. It was a cake, but it was made of crepes. It was layered crepes. My dad loves crepes and my stepmom got it for him for Father's Day. And it was literally, I don't even know how many crepes. It was like this tall, just, I mean, crepes are thin, you know?
Yeah.
So it was layered. And I think I took like 2 bites and I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, I'm going to vomit. And I didn't. I was able to like, I went outside, got air, and I was like, you know, but anyway, so I've eaten a lot of things and I don't get sick. So it's a scary feeling, right? Because I'm like, I can definitely see how I can gain the weight back. But yeah, if I wanted to snack 30 minutes all day, I could eat 3,000 calories in a day. I could.
Yeah.
To be real, you know what I mean? But it's when I eat a meal, when I sit down and eat a meal, right? When I meal prep, I am full. Like before I came into film, I had chicken and vegetables and I'm completely satisfied. I completely feel the restriction. But if I was to get a bowl of popcorn, I could eat 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like the restriction is there, but it's just what I'm choosing on what to eat, like popcorn. And I've had multiple girls on the podcast talk about it. I feel 0 restriction with popcorn. And I love popcorn.
I've been staying away from that one. My problem right now is goldfish. Like I can't even talk. Goldfish crackers.
But you see what I'm saying? Like something that I will never have in my house because I can kill a whole thing is Ritz. Like Ritz crackers. 5 of them is like 150 calories or something. And I can easily eat like 15 if I wanted, to be honest. And really early on, like a month can be like, what do you mean you eat 15 Ritz crackers at one time? Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Yeah. I feel you.
It's crazy. It's really crazy. So that's why they say don't snack. Like don't just get stuff out of a bag. Don't just walk into your pantry and get a handful. And I'm guilty of this. I do this all the time.
Yeah. I have to meal prep.
Yes. If you don't meal prep,
it's game over. Yeah.
And
I feel that.
Yeah. You meal prep every week. Like, are you pretty consistent?
I'm working on that because I noticed a quick spiral of like, I'm so hungry and I have to kill that hunger that for me, it's crackers. And like, I say that in my channel, it's always crackers. Like I'm an old lady with it. Like give me some plain saltine crackers. And I don't even get the ones with salt, but I'm just like, I'll go to town and I have to like have something cooked so I can throw it in the microwave really quick. and get to it fast.
Like you
So
said, goldfish are how small you could eat so much. If I was to eat goldfish, I love goldfish. If I was
55 is a serving.
You see? Yeah. But like literally, that's the thing is like, if you just get a handful and then you like walk upstairs and like, you know, whatever, do whatever and go back down and get another handful and you do that for a couple hours.
Yep. You're done. Yep.
That's what I'm explaining because it's crazy. I remember them saying that in the beginning and I was like, oh my gosh, it's not that serious. It is that serious.
Yeah.
You know? Someone asked, what do you eat in a day to continue to lose weight? Yeah. Have you stalled? Because someone said getting past early stalls.
So I've had a few early stalls and I find that my body just works that way. Like I try to, one thing I like feel like I preach too much about it, but you know, I feel like you also can't preach enough, is that you got to give yourself some grace. So I have periods of time where like, I feel like my body like likes to go 3 weeks without losing anything, 2 or 3 weeks. And then the next week it's like, boom, like girl, you lost 4 pounds, 3 pounds, what have you. So what I've noticed is that in my stalls, I really have to sit back and ask myself, honestly, are you drinking enough water? Because the odds are probably not. Protein, am I getting enough protein? Because I recently had to step back and look at that and I wasn't getting enough protein. So I started going back to shake.
What's your goal, right? What's your doctor's goal for you right now at 5 months post-op for protein?
So they tell me like 70 to 80 grams of protein, which I feel like for the most part, for somebody who doesn't track, I'm pretty sure I come close to that.
Okay.
Just about each day, but I do have some horrible days. So it's all about that meal prep and having the heavy protein options available and staying on top of the shakes. Like I just really, that's going to be my saving grace at the moment.
It's my saving grace even now. And like, I know my doctor in the beginning, he was like, I don't want you always doing shakes, but even now to meet my protein goal, if I don't have a Premier shake, I mean, a Premier shake, you do Premier or which ones do you do?
Yeah, I do Premier.
Yeah. So like a Premier shake is 30 grams, one, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if I was to erase that or take that away from my diet, that's 30 grams taken away. And like, when you think about it, yeah, you know, chicken, I don't know off the top of my head, but yeah, it's high, but not 30 grams, you know?
Yeah.
And that shake really, really helps you meet that goal.
It does. Early on, when I was tracking, right after surgery, it's amazing, like how much you think is in chicken or how much you think is going to be in that tuna or whatever. And it will surprise you every time. Cause you're like, man, I just am not getting enough. Like you'd have to eat like a bunch of chicken throughout the day, like to get where you need.
Especially when you can't eat a lot, especially, you know, if you Google chicken, it'll be like a huge amount. And I'm like, okay, wait, I can't even eat that. So then you're like dividing it by 4 or whatever to try to meet the protein goal.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely think the shakes are here to stay for quite some time.
Yeah. What are your go-to snacks right now?
So the bad snacks are the crackers.
I'm like, not crackers. What do you?
But my good snacks, I've been trying to incorporate like fruit. I know not every plan allows you to have fruit. I've heard some people, you know, get guidance that they're not supposed to be eating.
I'm glad you bring that up because
wait,
why is it? Sorry, hold on. My thing is being weird running out. Okay. I eat fruit, and yeah, like you said, there's some doctors that are like, nope, negative, no, you know.
Right. And mine, they told us like, look, you guys have a little bit of everything. Just, you know, just watch the sugar, no bread for a year, no alcohol for a year, that kind of thing. And yes, I do bad with crackers, but I try to have I've tried to incorporate fruit in there because I noticed that it will get me pretty full. So especially things like watermelon, pineapple, that kind of stuff sits heavy, but it's a good heavy. And definitely helps get some fiber in there too from certain things. But so cucumbers are like my biggest thing. I'm a cucumber fan. They're quick, it's easy. They also sit like watermelon because of how much water they have in them. So I kind of look at it as a hydrating thing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That helps.
So yeah, that and tuna packs. Like packs of tuna I feel like, honestly, like we're in this COVID period and I work from home at this time, but I know the moment offices open up and things like that, like I always need to have a pack of tuna in my purse. I've just found that that's like the easiest.
You get the flavored pouches. Are those the ones?
Yeah.
Aren't they like, they're so good. They are
So good.
Which one's your favorite?
The garlic and herb. Yeah.
Oh, yum. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. I love the buffalo one. I love spicy.
Yeah.
So I love the buffalo one, barbecue. They're all really, really good. And
They're all good.
Surprised.
And easy. So you can just rip that off, have a plastic fork or whatever kind of fork you got, and just go to town and get in. I think they have close to 17 grams if you eat that. So something like that.
They're high in protein. Yeah, I remember when I saw someone post about them and I was like, oh, like, I don't know. And then I tried it and I was like, oh my gosh, no, this is good. Because I like tuna, but I would buy, like the canned tuna, and then I have to like add stuff to it to actually make it taste good. But with this one, and I still sometimes cut up like onions or celery or whatever and add to it. But if you're hungry and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't bring lunch, and you already have it in your purse, you're good to go.
Yeah. I think that's just definitely something that I'm going to have for life. And I wasn't even on them before surgery. I didn't care much about them, but now it's like, yes.
I feel like now after surgery, I get so mad at myself because I'm like, I have found replacements for like everything that I was obsessed with before. And I was like, why couldn't I put this much effort before? You know what I mean? Like
I feel like you're like that because you didn't see like enough results for the effort that you put in. And I know for a fact, one bad day of eating with PCOS can literally pack on some actual pounds, like legit. Like it's not water weight. It's not going to go away. Like, yeah. So that's rough. When you start seeing that trend, you just want to throw your hands up and be like, you know what, I'm done. But when you get weight loss surgery, like it's just, you're seeing the fruits of your labor finally. And it's just like, it just helps you just propel forward. So
it's such an amazing feeling, and it's like you said, it's super motivating. So when you have your weeks of stalls, so I know you said that sometimes you have like a 2 or 3 week stall, do you get discouraged, or are you just kind of like
I feel like that? Yeah, I feel the same way I do when I'm on my cycle, because it still happens to me when I get my cycle. I'll go up close to 3 pounds. It happened this past week, and I just stay away from the scale. I tell myself it's not real. I keep the number in my head at the lowest number that scale showed me because, that's what we're going to do. And I feel like it does play with you a little bit, but I welcome it because I always end up getting in that mindset of like, oh, I got to get myself in check, like drink more water, eat healthier snacks. Well, we shouldn't be snacking, more like meals, but healthier options. So I don't snack, that kind of thing. So that's been something that I've actually been working on recently because I found that I was just snacking far too much.
And how many times a day do you eat?
If I'm being honest, it's probably like 2 times.
Really?
A day that I'm really eating. And that's like not, if I stay away from snacking, I could probably get like three little meals in a day and then my shake.
Yeah, because like me, like when I say snacking, I think of more like going into the pantry and just grabbing stuff. Because like with me, and I've said it before, like I eat every 3 hours. I've done that since the beginning, and I still do that now. I feel like as soon as I have alarms on my phone, like I know in my head, my body knows when that alarm's about to go off, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm starving. And that's another thing. People think that when you get weight loss surgery, all of a sudden you're not starving. No, I'm starving, like to the point where I'm like, don't talk to me, I am hungry. You know what I mean? Like, I got stuck in traffic on the way home and I didn't have a snack in my car, and I was like, my head was pounding. I had my water, but it was just doing nothing for me. And I was about to pull over, like seriously, to go to a gas station. And I was like, no, Paulina, like you can make it home, but I usually always have something with me, like a protein bar or something, so I don't feel like that. But yeah.
It's that serious. It is like your blood sugar gets like so low that you're like, I have to handle this now. Like,
no, now. Like literally, like I was like, oh my gosh, I need to eat. I felt lightheaded and everything. And it was like, and I reminded myself, like, you need to always have something in your purse. I always do. I don't know why I didn't.
That is huge.
Yeah. What's your favorite meal? Like, I know we talked about snacks, but what's your like go-to meal? Well, you said tuna, but other than that.
Salmon's actually my go-to meal. Like I will have all types of salmon. My favorite thing is smoked salmon.
And
because
it's
to
high,
me,
it's high in protein. So I
yes,
love salmon too.
yes. And I'm a weirdo with my smoked salmon because I know a lot of people eat it as is, but I will cook it even further. Like, and it tastes like bacon to me. So I love salmon and cucumber. Like cucumber is my veggie of choice. I've had broccoli and that was just kind of like okay, but right now
broccoli doesn't sit good on my stomach. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because like with us being bariatric patients, they say you have to chew your food, chew, right? I hear it all the time. And with broccoli, I have to chew it a million times for it to be like the bariatric, you know what I'm talking about. Like they basically want to be like pure.
Make it baby food. You gotta make it into baby food.
Yeah, it's nasty when I think about it. But broccoli is so just like harsh that I can never get it. So then when I swallow, I just feel it sit in my stomach and I just don't like it.
Yeah. My other one is spinach. Like I like to cook down spinach and that goes down super easy. So shrimp and spinach I like to cook together and do like butter garlic. That's like one of my
shrimp is pretty high protein also. Yeah, but salmon for like I love salmon too, and it's been super easy on my tummy. I had some salmon early on, like not like right after surgery, but I think I probably started around like 3 months is when I started having salmon, and I was like, oh my gosh, like it doesn't feel heavy. I don't have to chew it so much. Like it's perfect.
Yeah, I had it very early on. I think it was like one of my first forms of protein, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Someone said, what made you get surgery? We already talked about that. And what is your goal weight? If you don't mind.
I haven't really thrown out that I have a goal weight. I kind of keep it to myself, but I would like to see what 150 pounds feels like on my frame. You know, we're both 5'4", and they tell you at 5'4", I don't know what they told you, but for me, he was like, you should be looking at 125, 130. And I kind of sat back and I was like, you know what? Like, I don't even know. I have always been one to have some hips, some naturally big boobs. Like, you know, like I don't really think, you know, I've lost some in the chest, but I really don't think we're going to see much more of a loss unless I go crazy and start running like marathons every day. Who knows at that point, but it kind of runs in the family. So I kind of know what my body's gonna, you know, kind of balance out to be. And 125, 130, I just don't know. I look at that and I don't really see it.
Was that that was your doctor, your surgeon?
Yes, my surgeon was saying, you know, like insurance would say this is where you want to be, but where do you want to be? And I remember saying like 160, 170, like, because I remember being close to that.
The one thing I loved about my surgeon is when I asked him, he never really told me a goal weight until I asked him, and I was like, okay, so you're not talking about numbers, like what? And he was like, and he starts laughing, and I'm like, what? And he like gets up and like he goes and grabs the chart, right? The famous chart with your height and what you're supposed to weigh. And he's like, okay, Paulina, you're 5'4", and you're supposed to be like 115 to 125. And he's like looking at me, and then he starts laughing, and he's like, looking at you. Like I played soccer, my legs are muscular. I don't have skinny legs, right? And he was like, just looking at you, you're not gonna weigh that. And if you weigh that, you probably won't like how you look. He was like, so honestly, that's why I don't give you a number. And like I'm 160 right now. My goal weight was 150. That was my goal weight. And then I was like, 140, right? You just start becoming obsessed, honestly.
Yeah.
So I said 150. I've been 160 for the last 4 months. Since I hit 11 months post-op, 10 months post-op, I haven't lost not a single pound. Because people ask me, like, do you want to lose more weight? And I was like, honestly, now I'm pretty content with my weight. I know that I need skin removal on my stomach, and I'm pretty confident that it's another 10 pounds. It has to be, at least.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Now it's just like, but then I wake up other days where I'm like, I want to lose 20 pounds. Like, it's a mind battle. It literally is. So it's hard. It's tough.
Yeah. So I try not to hold myself to an actual goal weight. I just want to feel amazing. But knowing me, I would want to push it, you know, to a level that I've never experienced before. And I can honestly say like the lowest weight that I remember is like 180 pounds.
Same, me too.
Yeah.
I was 180. I remember freshman year when I was on the soccer team, and of course everyone was way smaller than me. I was 180.
Oh my gosh, we were like at the same point in life. Like that's
and I remember it so clear because I was 180. I wasn't 200, but I felt huge. Everyone on the soccer team was like 120, like skinny little thing, you know.
Yep.
I remember running. I hated running. I hate running now.
Yep.
I
played soccer too.
Yeah, I remember running, and they're like having a conversation about what they're gonna do on the weekend, and I'm like, oh my God, don't talk to me. I'm trying to breathe, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So I was always bigger. That was always me. So being 160 is insane.
Yes, and that's I feel like I just will know once I get there. And you know, I want kids in the future. So I also like kind of had it in my head like, girl, I kind of want to get as low as possible.
Yes. Have
some kids and then be comfortable, not like freaking out that I'm like never see over 200 pounds. Like I really don't ever want to see
I'm literally in that spot right now. Like we want to have kids soon, and I told him I don't want to see 2 in front of my weight ever again. Even like the day that I'm gonna go into labor, I do not want to see 200. I don't care if I'm 9 months pregnant, you know. And that's why sometimes I'm like, maybe I need to lose 10 more pounds, because who knows how much I'm gonna gain in pregnancy. You know what I mean? And it's a scary thing. To me, it won't even matter that I'm about to have a baby. It's going to be more of like you know, like my mind is going to be like, you're 200 pounds again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't blame you. I talked to my surgeon about this. And that's one thing I would say to anybody watching this who's looking to get a consult. Write down every single question you have in your head. Like take a week or however long you have before your consult and write it all down. So I asked about pregnancy, and I was like, you know, one of my concerns is gaining, you know, a large amount of weight during pregnancy. And he was like, let me tell you something. He's like, you only need like 300 additional calories when you're pregnant. I was like, so basically you're telling me we only need a candy bar in the day extra on top of what we already eat. And he was like, yeah, it's just, you know, it shouldn't really be a thing where you're like gaining all this weight. But I'm like, yeah, I guess it's a hormone thing plays into it. That's hormones will make you crave some stuff and have a hard time fighting it. So I can, you know, double-edged sword, I guess.
Yeah. And like my mom with her pregnancies, my mom only gains like 20 pounds. And I'm like, okay, if my mom gained 20 pounds, I think with one of them, cause I have younger brothers. I have a 11-year-old brother and a 15-year-old brother, but she was, in her 30s when she had them. She had me at 18 and she had my sister at 21. So, she restarted, but she had them in her 30s, and yeah, she only gains like 20-25 pounds, and it's like on her belly. And you know, my mom doesn't struggle with her weight. My mom takes care of herself. I don't want to say she doesn't struggle with her weight, because she's always taking care of herself. She's very active. My mom loves to rollerblade. Like she's so nice. She goes skating every day. Like she's just really hyper. But when I see that, I'm like, yeah, Paulina, you shouldn't be gaining no 40-50 pounds when you're pregnant.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. And it could be some stuff that runs in your family. You don't know. Like my mom had trouble with each, you know, she's had 3 kids and she's gained weight with each one of us. So I kind of just look at that and just like, all right, well, I need to prepare myself and
work. It's a scary, that's going to be a whole other journey. You know what I mean? With not being upset with yourself and like, you know, I don't know. I think about that all the time.
Yeah. That definitely is going to be a mental toll. So
yeah, and I follow people that are pregnant right now after surgery, and they talk about that all the time. They talk about how they struggle. They struggle with, yes, they know that they're carrying a life inside of them and that they're gaining weight, but it's hard for them to connect it to that versus just not saying, oh, I'm gaining weight. You know what I mean? Yeah. Right. But a lot of the girls that I see have babies, they bounce back. They literally lose weight so fast after, and it's like, wow, you know?
Right. That's the hope. That's the hope.
Yep. So your goals moving forward, obviously I know to lose more weight, but what goals do you have for yourself, like by your year mark? What are you thinking?
I just kind of look at life as a whole. Like I envisioned what life was going to be like for me at a healthy weight, and just I more so see things that I plan to do. Like
Yeah.
I'm a little, more fearless with, I felt like I was not the person that I had inside of me. Like I have a fashion sense like nobody's business, but couldn't express myself because it wasn't there for me or it didn't look good. I find that, everything changes mentally. Like I don't buy crazy stuff anymore. Like I was buying all the time and I felt like I was trying to fill that void of like constantly having things. Like I love nice things, don't get me wrong, but when I look at my closet and it's dwindling down and I have less in my closet, but I love having less because I feel better in what I do have. And I feel like when you're heavier, like you're always looking for something like clothing wise. If you're buying a lot of clothes, like I feel you, I've been there, but I don't really have like physical goals, I guess. Like running again would be great, but my knees have been pretty jacked. I don't know what I've done to them, but like being overweight, being overweight on a 5'4" frame, like I was having trouble just bending down. Like it hurt so bad to bend my knees. And like, I'm pretty sure I injured one of my knees actually. I would go to the doctor multiple times about it and we never did like an MRI or anything, but I don't know. I feel like I've kind of got some jacked up knees from being overweight.
For sure. I mean,
yeah.
For sure. And like, I mean, I tore my ACL and my meniscus, and
I
feel like my knees were always messed up from soccer and being overweight, I tore my ACL and my meniscus as an adult. I'm 29. I was probably like 20. Was I 24 maybe? And it was because, and I have my legs crossed right now, but I had my legs crossed and I had to go to the bathroom, and I like, when your legs asleep, and I like ran to the bathroom and it was not.
Oh no.
It was horrible. And I had to get surgery and stuff. So yeah, when I see people running and stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. But I also, I don't think I could be a runner because they said once you get ACL surgery that it's very common to
I wouldn't play with that.
Heck no. Even right now, being at this healthy weight, it's still, when you're running, it's very hard on your knees.
Yes.
I'm not.
So I guess, I feel you. So I guess I don't really have like goals, but just experiences, like to experience life different. Getting on a plane and not being so nervous at the fact that I'm on top of somebody else and that I have my space and can fit comfortably, and not always walking into situations thinking everybody's judging you off of your weight.
It's like all those non-scale victories, and you're going to experience so many of them. Like the airplane one, I lived it, and I was like 6 months post-op, and I got on the plane and I'm like, oh my God. And I had to, before I used to have to ask for an extender, but like you said, it's crazy because you're saying so many things that I thought about. Like, people are looking at you and they're not even looking at you. You know what I mean? Like yourself.
Exactly. Or like when you feel like you feel super cute in an outfit or whatever, and then the moment you go out, you instantly that nice feeling goes away because you feel like, wow, I feel really frumpy in what I'm wearing or whatever. It's just experiencing life differently, I think, is just my overall goal. And I do want to be physically fit and be with somebody who has that same lifestyle and just motivate each other. And so that's definitely something I see down the road, is just really getting into working out and taking care of myself.
Yeah, I love that because it's so easy to say, I want to weigh 150. You know what I mean? And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And people get the surgery for so many different reasons. I'm not saying someone's reason is more inspiring or more of a reason to get surgery, but I've talked to people that straight up have told me, I want the surgery because I want to look good. And I'm like, all right, but
I see a lot of those.
Like, do you? But I personally don't think that's enough. Yeah, you might lose your weight, you might look good for a little bit, but I feel like if that was really the only reason that you got surgery, it's going to be hard to stay motivated. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I feel like I see a lot of that, and I get a lot of those questions. Like if it's somebody asking me like, I want to know about the hair loss because I'm thinking that maybe I don't want to do this because of the hair loss. I'm like, if you're concerned, if your number one concern is the hair loss, you're not ready for this step.
That was actually one of the questions. Have you experienced hair loss already?
Yeah. And yes, I have. If you look at my Instagram, you'll probably, or my YouTube, you'll see a full head of hair.
Your hair is still beautiful.
So, thank you. Thank you. I'm hanging on to every strand, girl.
Yeah,
Strand.
But
my hair has like lost, probably like twice its volume since surgery. And we all sign up for this knowing that is something that most likely will happen.
Yep.
And it will grow back.
Yep.
So when I choose my hard, I'd rather take this path and be healthy and have a tool that actually works. So yes, hair loss, yes, it sucks, yes, but it's gonna grow back. So
yeah, like you were saying, I've gotten those messages too where they're like, I can't do it if I'm gonna lose hair. And I say, well, yeah. It's a high, I'm not saying you're going to, but it's a very high percentage you're going to lose hair. I lost hair. I did the chop. I had long hair, and then I chopped my hair off. And then now, 14 months post-op, I have to, you can't really see it, but I have to like put oil in my hair and stuff because I have all the baby hairs all the time. You know what I mean? Yep. All the time coming through. But like you said, it grows back. Like,
yeah, and people are just so concerned about the wrong things. I'm like, girl, be concerned about the risks of surgery. Be concerned about that because you're taking a healthy organ and you're saying, hey, I want you to remove 70% of this. Like, let's be concerned about what we really should be concerned about. And another thing, I get a lot of messages from, and not to just like go on people, but maybe if you're watching this and you're one of these people, really think about it. But I get a lot of questions asking me like, as if we're on a process, like as if your journey and my journey should be the same because we got this procedure, and where should we both be at like 4 weeks out? Where should we both be at 1 month out? Like, we're not going to be the same. Like your body, every single body's different. Like you might be on a stall and I'm moving, or I might be on a stall for like 2 months and then, have a breakthrough.
And that's absolutely 100%. Like, I agree with you because like, and I've said it before, and sometimes I don't like to say it because I feel like people are annoyed, but I didn't stall. I did not stall until I hit 160 pounds. I lost weight every single week. I saw a drop. It was insane.
That's amazing.
Literally. And it's, I'm being 100% honest. I've had people that messaged me and there was no way you never stalled. I am on everything I love. I did not stall until I hit 160 pounds.
Everybody's different, and you just had an awesome.
I'm like,
journey.
honestly, like it was to my 11 months right before I hit 160. I was 172, and I think I had 1 week where I lost 0, and that 0 for me, I was like, I'm gonna do a reset, a pouch reset, and I decided to do that. That was just me. Seeing the 0 for 1 week, it did make me feel some type of way. And that's just me,
Yeah.
So I did the pouch reset. That's what got me to 160. And then I have not moved. So
that's awesome.
Everyone's different, like you said. So people reach out to me and they're like, what did you do to lose weight every week? And I tell them, this is, what I did might not work for you, but I got a personal trainer 2.5 months post-op. I've worked out. I have people that ask me, how did you do it? And I'm like, have you worked out? And they're like, no. And I'm not going to be the one to tell them, oh, that's why you're not losing weight. But I feel like working out is a big part of this journey.
Right.
My doctor estimated 80 pounds for me. He wanted me to get a bypass. He said, Paulina, you have so much weight to lose. You need to get the bypass. And I didn't want to get the bypass. So I got the sleeve. I worked harder, right? Than he thought I was going to, I guess. And I lost 140 pounds. So it's just, I don't know.
Yeah. It's different. And I feel like so many people like message thinking you got the recipe. And I'm like, there's no recipe.
No, at all.
There's no directions to this. You do as you need to do. Like, do whatever plan your nutritionist and surgeon talk to you about, stick to it. And if you feel like being adventurous, maybe try something. But we all don't know.
And it's going to the basics too, like you mentioned earlier. When someone asks me too, I always say, how much protein are you eating? How much ounces are you drinking? Are you taking your vitamins? What time are you eating? Are you working out? Are you
A lot of times
sleeping?
the answers are no to quite a few of those things they should be doing.
Yeah, it's like all the basic things. And then like I get those replies back where they're kind of annoyed, like, you know, because they think I'm being like a smart, you know what? And I'm like, I'm not. I'm just literally telling you, like, are you sleeping enough? Are you eating enough protein? What, like, because all of that is a connection to your weight loss. Duh.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We all know even before surgery, we knew we had to eat healthy and work out. Right?
Yeah.
But it's not so easy. It's not.
Exactly.
It's hard. Even after surgery, it's hard. So
Yes.
goodness. Let me see. There's a couple, hair loss, what to do and how to stop panicking. So, and we've already talked about that.
Yeah. Don't panic.
Yeah. I mean, how long did you, like, are you still seeing hair? Like when you take a shower and stuff or brush your hair, are you still seeing it?
I'm still seeing it. I do feel like sometimes it slows down some weeks and then the next week it's like, I'm back. But, you know, like I just look at it as, you know, the weight's coming off, and I have been addressing my protein issues. So I do feel like it's been slower this week for sure.
Yeah. Someone asked, I mean, COVID is happening right now. So I don't know. Have you traveled recently? Have you gone even like a weekend trip or anything?
I've been taking COVID rather serious because as VSG post-op patients, we're told we are now high risk. So I definitely don't play any games with it. I don't go anywhere.
See, and that's really good. And like we, I work at a elementary school, and we just went back. So we went back 2 weeks ago. And it's been crazy, you know, obviously. And that's one of my fears, even being 14 months post-op, that you're still prone, you know what I mean? Our immune system is shot down compared to someone without surgery. So I'm really, really, you know, I'm always drinking like my vitamin D, my teas, like I'm trying to do my vitamins, but it's hard sometimes. But I know this person was just saying, I love traveling. Any tips on how you can keep track and still travel? Because I mean, before, I feel like traveling is like the window to like go grub, right?
Yeah,
if you were to travel, what do you think would be tips?
I would definitely have like snacks on me, like, and snacks, I mean quick options like the tuna packs, Premier Protein, you know, throw one of those. It's not fun to drink warm, but still have your options and be ready, because I've done like dumb little trips to the store thinking I was going to be 30 minutes and then half my day is gone, and I messed up because I didn't pack anything. So I think if you want to be successful while traveling, have some options ready, but also be mindful about what you get at restaurants or going out to eat. Like you don't have to splurge on every single meal. Enjoy yourself, enjoy your life. Maybe pick like one meal to really enjoy something like out of the ordinary, and then just jump right back on.
For sure. Yeah. I feel like, I know before I would find an excuse for anything, like to eat, right? I would be like, oh, we're going on a weekend trip. Let's grab. Oh, it's the holidays. Let's eat. You know, it's always do. So I really love that. And it is setting yourself up for success. Like I just talked about driving home. I was like freaking out because I was starving and I didn't have a snack. You know what I mean? And it's having that. Even with water is so important. You know, because like you said, oh, I'm going to run to the store really quick. And then you're like, oh, no, I have other errands to do. And then you didn't eat for 5 hours. And then what? And then you're like, I'm going to pig out, you know?
You messed up. So, and I try to stay away from like high sugar items. Like I really don't mess that much with sugar. I still keep it rather low. And I honestly am scared to eat something like a piece of cake or whatever, because before my body would react in dumping syndrome before surgery.
So imagine now.
I remember clearly having like, it was Dunkin' Donuts that set me off one time. And so I can't imagine having something like that now. So I think it's a plus after surgery, and hopefully you experience that benefit. But like, I just don't really want certain things anymore. And bread, honestly, I haven't really cared to have that except for Milo crackers. I don't care for actual bread and things. So it might be a plus to travel and you're not as tempted, but food used to be like my fun. So
And now you're just finding other things, like actually enjoying someone's company.
Now you're enjoying the trip, looking cute in your outfit and feeling great and doing activities that, you know, you thought like, what's the weight capacity for that? Like you're focused on other parts of life. And I think that that's going to be one of those helpful tools when traveling, honestly.
Absolutely. 100%. I love that answer because it's so true. It's like my food, everything revolved around food. And now it's like what you said. It's like being able to wear that cute outfit. You know what I mean? Or it sounds stupid, but it's such a powerful moment. It really is. You know what I mean? And, you know, walking down, I remember I went to San Francisco one year and I was going up the hills and I felt like I was going to die because we were walking. I feel like if I was to go to San Francisco today, I'd be chill. I'd be like,
you want to do more, and like the little things that maybe gave you joy food wise, like I don't know about you, but for me, I really love the fact that I can taste a little something and be like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah, no, seriously. It's super, it's not like before. It's not at all. Yeah, I mean, we could talk forever, and I always say this in all it's been like an hour, but just to wrap up, is there any advice that you would give to someone? And I always like to end like this because I feel like, you know, everyone's advice is different. What advice would you give to someone that like has surgery like in a week?
I would tell you that it's normal for you to be scared. And if you're not scared, I would question whether you're ready for the step that you're about to take. And be excited. You build up so much before surgery, and it's just a moment. Once they take you back and you don't remember a thing, you're going to wake up and your new life begins. And my advice for anybody who's looking into this or has it scheduled or anything, envision what your life is going to be and really hold on to that. I moved in silence. You don't have to move that way, but like only a certain sprinkle of people knew what I was doing. And I held on to my vision of what I wanted my life to be like. What is your future like? Are you enjoying trips that you didn't think you were going to go on because you're actually enjoying the whole trip and not just, you know, feeling bad about your body and the state it's in? How do you feel at a healthier weight? How does it feel to walk and not be winded? How does it feel to, you know, make healthy choices and see a scale go down and get where you want to be? So that's what I would say. Create a vision. I would say use Pinterest or something to pin the kind of things. Make a vision board of where you want to be. How does it feel to be where you want to be? And really sit and meditate on that and go in and do what you need to do, because you're going to wake up in recovery and things are going to be great. Have that mindset and don't lose it.
That's such a beautiful answer. It's so inspirational, but I think that's, and it goes so fast. Like I said, I feel like I was just 5 months post-op, a month post-op. It goes by so fast. And I remember waking up and feeling horrible and being like, this is the worst thing that I did, you know, and you will see the light at the end of the tunnel. You will. You feel like you're stuck in the moment, but I don't even know how I'm past the year.
Day one or day none. You got to pick what you're going to do. What are you going to do?
I'm so excited to see like your journey. You're still early on. You have so much more to experience. And I mean, you're already doing amazing. So I would love to have you on again in like 6 months or, you know, whenever you want, so we can follow up.
That's awesome. Paulina, thank you for having me as a guest. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, this will go on next Wednesday, and then like I'll tag you and everything, so you'll see. But yeah, thank you for being on. I know it's super late. You're probably like falling asleep, but I'm
a night owl.
Are you?
This is my hour.
Okay. Well, get some rest, and then we'll talk soon. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you so much for watching. Like I always say, there is so much love on these podcasts. You know, it's hard work to do them every single week, but I love it because there's a new story every single week. On this episode, as you guys just watched, I had Anita. And Anita, thank you so much for being so open with your story. You know, there's topics that can be sensitive, and I just really, really appreciate that you are completely open with everyone, because your story is going to inspire others, right, that are going through the same things as you. And just thank you for being on. And I can't wait to see your journey. It's your 5 months post-op, and just to see next month, in 3 months, in a year. I just can't wait to see all of the beautiful things that you're going to get to experience. And again, thank you for taking time out of your day to be on my podcast. But yeah, you guys, for you guys watching, again, thank you guys so much for watching and for the constant love on here. If you guys haven't yet, please subscribe, like the video, comment down below. And as always, you guys have a beautiful rest of your week. And I will see you guys on my video on Sunday. Bye.